All right, guys, here we go again on the road once again against Taunton this time. We have a rotated squad with some new faces. I know that's a little bit unusual to hear, but we did discover that we can afford at least some players. So we have guys like Brevet up there who just came in a couple days ago who don't know the tactic, but who look like they're at least somewhat better than the players that we were starting before. So let's see what we can do. Let's see if they can come out and make an immediate impact, hopefully an immediate positive impact, and help the team out a little bit. It turns out that especially in the back, some of our defenders were not really good enough to play at this level. And speaking of which, Blakely gave up the ball, showing that he's probably not good enough to play at this level. But you never know. That was just one little blip. That might not be the end of the world. And it's Blakely who wins this in the end, and their player was offside anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Let's see if we have a little bit of good luck here. It would be nice to get another win. We have that win and then a draw. Another win, and then maybe we can get the media kind of off of our backs. Now, you know how I am. I did nothing but found young players, and that's the way that this one goes. That's a ball forward to absolutely nobody. Danielowitz goes over and grabs that one and falls on top of it. So pass over there to Swain for now for Newton beat. Newton beat, knocks it back to Swain, over to Sarpong, back to beat, back to Sarpong. This is good, over to Lesa, and it didn't quite work out as well as he wanted it to, and Warwick's being called for being offside again. That's another sort of tacky call. I don't fully agree with that call, and it's not even my team. Swain forward for Lesa, and it just doesn't quite work. And this is lumped backwards. Blakely knocks that out for a corner. He really didn't have to do that. So that's another kind of poor play there for Blakely, who is still trying to get used to that wingback position on the right. He's doing a better job now than I think earlier, but it's still not easy. Danielowitz here with the save. And so we haven't given up a goal yet, and that's key. We had the ball in a pretty good position there, and I wish I would have seen some of that build-up, but instead it's passed over to Stern over the top, and he shoots and hits the crossbar. So, or I'm sorry, hits the post. It would have been harder to hit the post than to actually score the goal. Edwards fouls his man right outside the penalty box, and that was a pretty cynical foul. They're going to card him here. No, they're not. The referees here at this level are not really fond of pulling out the cards for whatever reason. And Danielowitz does a good job twice in making saves, and then this is finally knocked out, but not knocked out that far. So we still have a little bit of work to do here defensively, but that's the end of the highlight. So it looks like we got out of that one okay. Chu over to Edwards, down to Sarpong, over to Haran. This is looking good. Haran forward to beat. Newton down to Haran, and he takes a shot and forces a good save. That was good, and that looked like a very, very good. That was a very good offensive attempt from us. It looks like a different team almost than what we've seen in some of our worst recent matches. So, let's see if we can keep that up. Chu does a good job winning this, and then he wins it in the back, but he knocks it right over to Stern, and Danielowitz makes the save, and we're still having problems with sort of clearing the ball into the wrong direction. Danielowitz pulls this one down, and he's going to throw it over to Swain. Up to beat, down to Lesa to Haran. That was good. Back to beat, forward for Lesa, and that's way out in front of him. But there's a misplay, and Lesa wins it, and then is fouled. So that wasn't bad at all. Swain here will take this shot from range, and it's right off the wall, and it goes out for a throw. So that's probably going to be the end of that highlight, but that wasn't too bad at all. Again, we're showing that we can play up with them, which is good. Nobody gives us any chance to do anything in this match. Edwards up to Haran, can't find him. Wiley can't quite get there either. And so we'll see what we can do then. Chu wins this in the back to Haran, over to Lesa. Lesa with it, and he's fouled from behind. No, they're going to call him offside. Okay, so that's the end of that. I didn't really have much of a look to see if that was the right call or not. And it's Stern once again. And Swain then pulls it down at the end. It's a pass forward for Lesa, but it's a really poor pass. And as usual, we're just giving up the ball for no good reason. Chu is able to clear this. That was a good clearance there by Chu. We want to see more clearances like that. Knock it out for a throw. Don't knock it out for a corner. So we're doing okay. Wiley over to Edwards. Edwards back to Wiley. And it's lumped back forward for Edwards, who's way offside. They got to call that, and they do. Thomas Edwards offside again. It was a good idea, but it doesn't quite work right. And there's Warwick with the shot, and he was not offside, so he timed his run correctly. Swain gets this ball here on the left side. Forward for Lesa, heads it backwards, and he wins this afterwards. Good job to keep up with that to beat then Sarpong, and now Swain with it. Over to Edwards, back to Chu, down to Edwards. And so we'll try here on the right side. Wiley knocks this forward, looking again for Lesa. We keep trying to lump it forward for Lesa, who has the speed, but he just doesn't have the other abilities he needs to be able to pull the ball down. So we're a little bit under half hour into this match. Haran wins this, knocks this forward, and it goes pretty much nowhere. Warwick with it, back to Sim Burgess. And it's knocked out for a corner. So we get to go through this once again. And let's figure out what is going on here. Stern steps back and takes this beat, ends up heading this out. And so that's the end of that. Warwick's going to be called for offside. No, Stern is called for offside. That's kind of odd as well. So we get the ball back here in the back. It'll be Swain with it down to Chu. Chu goes down to Blakely to Edwards. Edwards forward for Haran. He'll get there. Tons and tons of space. And that's lumped over for Lesa. Maybe we need to stop passing it to his head since he hasn't won any of those. Edwards over to Sarpong. Forward again for Lesa, and AJ just can't get there on time. Beat, whoever wins this, over to Haran, down to Edwards, who takes a shot, and we've seen him score that before. It doesn't quite work out this time. And so we're about a half hour into this match, and we still don't have much to show for it. It's lumped up over our heads. Swain will end up pulling this down to Haran. And it's taken off of him pretty easily. Blakely, however, is able to win this. Good job. Brevet back to Blakely. Looks like they've played together before. That looked pretty good. Wiley lumps this forward to Haran, and that's pretty poor. You can see, and I think I've said this in past videos, that a lot of the attacking momentum that we have comes actually from the back, from the center backs. And so when they're just sort of lumping the ball forward and hoping for the best, we have some problems. This is headed up and over and ends up hitting Edwards' head, and he's knotted that one out for a throw. So good job again. We haven't given up a goal, that's for sure. This is over forward for Warwick. Passes it back to Stern. Stern does take a shot, and that is knocked down from behind. So we have prevented ourselves from giving up a goal yet again. But it's still looking like a whole bunch of pressure against us. Sarpong headed that one behind, and it'll be another corner for them. So, we'll see what we can do. Stern steps back to take this and knocks it forward, and we're able to head that one back again, but not quite far enough. And Blakely wins this, but he doesn't clear it very well. It's Guest with it, and then Danielowitz comes out and grabs it. So good job by Danielowitz keeping on top of that. And let's see what he can do. He throws over to Wiley, lumps forward for Lesa down to Edwards. And it's for Sarpong, and that was really poorly timed. Warwick takes a shot. He was offside. Now they're going to call that a goal kick. I guess he was onside. He looked offside to me, definitely. Wiley here lumps this forward again for Lesa. Can't find him. And, problematic. We shouldn't be doing that. Warwick's been called for offside there again. So a couple of minutes left here in the first half. It's been kind of a mediocre, kind of a blah first half. Our new guy up there, Brevet, hasn't done very much. I can't really blame him because he just came on, and I think we're playing him out of position. That's knocked out for another corner, so we'll see what comes of this. We got about a minute here, and Sarpong heads this one up and out and doesn't quite get there. Hogan was chasing after, he couldn't quite find it, and that was really dangerous. We almost gave up a goal just like that. Danielowitz here with us again. Passes over to Wiley. Wiley down to Blakely. Blakely moves it up there for Brevet, back to Blakely, and he gives up possession once again really, really easily, and looks pretty bad in doing it. Chu ends up running this down over to Wiley, and he lumps that forward looking for Lace, and it just doesn't happen again. It's forward for Warwick, who has it, but he's been called for offside once again. Kind of another one of those sort of ticky-tacky type calls. And I guess we have been the better team here. At least that's what they're telling me. Brevet is not playing well. And I do think we're going to put Boyce on. We didn't start Boyce. At first, I was going to do that, but we decided not to. And Swain is also sort of getting used to it. We'll put Cunningham back on. We decided not to start Boyce because of his injury risk level. But I think we'll be okay playing him for the second half. Maybe he can get a goal, and maybe we can get something happening here. It hasn't been very much. We've had draws before that have been entertaining. This one has been kind of boring. Blakely with a foul. I've said his name a lot, and he hasn't done a whole lot to endear himself to me. So yeah, we'll see if he can turn it around here for us. He's forward for Warwick, and he's offside. So much for that. Warwick is offside. Sarpong here with the free kick and a shot, and that's off the wall and headed back to him. Interesting. He avoids the tackle, and then Cunningham goes over and wins it back again over for Chu, and Chu's header's off, but then he's able to almost win it, and Warwick comes away with it in the end. Passes over to Chamberlain, who runs forward on our left, and it's going to be forward for Warwick, who takes the shot, and it does not go in. It's off the post again, and he's called for offside anyway. It doesn't matter in the end. Beat with the cross, and they're going to call Beat offside. That was the correct call. That's a kind of strange corner. Or a strange throw. We probably should have a better plan than that. We're on here with this, and he's offside. There just hasn't been much of a rhythm to this match. When you play those matches and it tells you that, we never got into a rhythm or whatever, that there were too many fouls or something like that. That's kind of what this one feels like. There just hasn't been any sort of rhythm to this at all. And it's been a lot of sort of stop and start, and a lot of offside calls, and a lot of, frankly, pretty poor play. And I would argue that a lot of that poor play has mostly come from them. I think we've actually been doing okay. As you can see here from these passes, we're doing a good job at linking up with each other. It's just that we have problems here and there. They've been offside, and even when they've been offside and they've gotten shots off, they haven't come close to scoring. Chamberlain is not able to win that, but Danielowicz does make the save in the end. This is forward here now for Lesa, and I think he's the one who's having a real poor game. We have to make some changes here once again. Morgan comes forward for them, and this is going to be a goal. No, Danielowicz with the save in the end. Danielowicz is a good keeper. At least he's been playing well in this game. We have seen him do some ridiculous things from time to time. Kelvin Seong's going to go back on, and we're going to take Beat out as well. We'll put Poodle on and see if Poodle can do a little better job. Newton Beat is young, and he's still trying to get used to what it is that we're trying to do. Blakely over to Boyce, down to Edwards, and forward for Seong, and he just can't quite get it there. McCootie, what a name. Chu is able to get in front of that one, and that goes out for a throw, and that's just... that deflection right there, I think, is sort of like symbolic of the way that this match has gone. It's been a whole bunch of stuff like that, where it's just like the shot on goal is deflected out for, nothing. Boyce here with a shot, almost scores, and that's probably the best chance that we're going to have today. Blakely throws over to somebody there, Seong it was. Wiley now over for Boyce, back to Seong, to Horan, back to Wiley. And Wiley's shot is deflected. So that'll be another corner for us. Hallam now with something going. This is looking a little bit better. It's going to be Poodle here taking this corner. He's going to go, I think, near post. No, he's going to Sarpong on the far post. So I was wrong on that one. And nothing happened in the end. Boyce heads this one out. It hits the back of the head of the player. He turns around and shoots. That's an interesting strategy. Edwards will come out. He's tired for Mac Masters, who's one of our better players. And let's see if that helps us around a little bit in midfield. It hasn't really been much of a match. Joshua Chu has played well, which is good. So we like it when guys play well. And there's the goal. Dylan Morgan scores, and that was right after that substitution. So that was not the right thing to do at all. And it would be nice if we didn't lose this match. I would like a draw at least. And the problem is that we've played fairly well, And I mean, this is just bad. It's just bad by, I've got to blame Wiley there at the back. So, I mean, we'll see what we can do. Chu here with this ball in the back over to Masters. Forward for boys. And he just doesn't have that first touch. That's where you need a player who has some kind of first touch. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to play at the low level and to watch these players who are really poor make really bad decisions and play poorly. That was a really bad decision. We've got to figure out some way to go through and to stop players from lumping the ball forward like that. I mean, we have to, because nothing good comes when we do that. We end up just giving up possession. Poodle knocks this one from range over looking for Cunningham, and it doesn't work. And now they have a counterattack. Guest with it, and goes back to Sims Burgos, and they might go up by 2 here. McCooty's way offside. Well, fortunately, he was offside. He made a poor decision. Chu here over to Masters, to Seong, down to Sarpong to Haran. And Sarpong now with it back to Cunningham. Cunningham down to Poodle, back to Cunningham. 4 looking for boys, and that's just over. Good header, but it's just over the top of the goal and out. Poodle now knocks this from range, looking for Cunningham, and cannot find him. And we're dealing with another counter attack. So 1-0 defeat is not what we wanted, but it's, I guess, better than losing 3-0. McCooty's offside again. They didn't call it, but Danielowitz ends up making the save in the end. I'm not going to look at this clear-cut chance. There's no reason. Blakely here with the throw over to Masters. He knew he was going to go back to Wiley. That's just the way that we've been doing this. Down to Chu. Chu back to Wiley. Wiley to Masters. Masters, Wiley, and they intercept once again. And Danielowitz comes from out of nowhere to play this. Blakely now to Wiley. Looking forward for Seong, and doesn't quite happen. Chu wins it, looking for Haran, can't get it to him. And yeah, we need to make a couple of changes, I think, here to this tactic to try to stop guys from lumping the ball forward. So it'll be back to the drawing board here, and we've lost this one 1-0. It was a match that I mean, we really didn't have much business trying to win, right? 0.32 XG. We did keep possession. We had 61% of the possession, which is good, but we didn't do anything by way of offensive attack. I'm not sure if that's the tactic or if that's our offensive players. So, yeah, we'll see what we can do here to turn this around. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.